Welcome to Empires Unearthed. Today we explore the incredible journey of Prussia, from a small duchy to a powerful empire that shaped European history through war, strategy, and leadership. This is the rise of Prussia. The origins of Prussia, a land of transformation. In the mists of northern Europe, where the Baltic winds swept across dark forests and icy rivers, a new power was beginning to stir. This was the land of the old Prussians, pagan tribes who had long resisted Christianization and conquest. But their world was about to change forever. In the 13th century, the Teutonic Knights arrived, German crusaders tasked with converting the region to Christianity. With steel and cross in hand, they carved a military state out of the Baltic frontier, known as the monastic state of the Teutonic Order. Castles rose from the soil, villages were subdued, and a new kind of rule was enforced, disciplined, orderly, and relentlessly Germanic. But even as the knights expanded their territory, cracks began to form. The Polish-Lithuanian Union to the south was growing stronger, and in 1410, at the Battle of Grunwald, the Teutonic Order faced a crushing defeat. The myth of invincibility was shattered, and over the next century, their power waned. Out of the ashes, a new political entity emerged, the Duchy of Prussia, established in 1525. For the first time, Prussia was ruled not by monks, but by a secular duke, Albert of Brandenburg-Ansbach, who embraced Protestantism. The duchy became the first state to adopt Lutheranism officially, setting it apart culturally and ideologically from its Catholic neighbors. But Prussia's real rise was yet to come. In 1618, a pivotal event unfolded. The Duchy of Prussia was inherited by the electors of Brandenburg, a powerful dynasty within the Holy Roman Empire. This personal union between Brandenburg and Prussia laid the foundation for a rising state that would one day challenge empires. In 1740, Frederick II became King of Prussia, and he would go on to be called Frederick the Great. He was a military genius, a philosopher king, and one of the most important rulers in European history. Frederick transformed Prussia from a regional power into a force that rivaled Austria, France, and Britain. His reign began with the invasion of Silesia, a rich province held by Austria that he claimed for Prussia. This started the War of the Austrian Succession from 1740 to 1748, and Prussia held its ground against powerful enemies. Then came the 7 Years' War, from 1756 to 1763, where Prussia faced a coalition of Austria, France, Russia, and others. Despite being outnumbered, Frederick's brilliant tactics and the discipline of the Prussian army allowed them to survive and even win. These wars earned Prussia respect and fear across Europe. Frederick was not just a warrior, he was also a reformer who modernized the bureaucracy, promoted education, supported arts and philosophy, and pushed for legal equality. Under Frederick, Prussia became a symbol of enlightened absolutism, combining rational governance with military might. By the end of his reign, Prussia was no longer just a duchy or a kingdom. It was a European power ready to shape the future. The age of Frederick the Great, power through reform and war. In 1740, a young and brilliant monarch ascended the Prussian throne, Frederick II, soon to be known as Frederick the Great. His reign would transform Prussia from a minor kingdom into a true European powerhouse. Frederick was not only a military genius, but also an enlightened thinker. He modernized Prussia's legal system, promoted education, and encouraged religious tolerance. Under his leadership, the arts flourished, but his greatest legacy would be built on the battlefield. Just months after taking the throne, Frederick launched a bold invasion of Silesia, a wealthy Austrian province. This triggered the War of the Austrian Succession. Against all odds, and despite overwhelming forces, Prussia emerged victorious. It had defeated Austria, the most powerful state in the Holy Roman Empire, and secured Silesia, massively increasing its wealth and prestige. Frederick's military prowess didn't stop there. During the 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763, Prussia faced a massive coalition of enemies: Austria, Russia, and France. At times, Frederick was nearly crushed, his kingdom on the brink of collapse. But through brilliant strategy and sheer will, he survived and even maintained all of Prussia's gains. By the end of Frederick's reign, Prussia had become synonymous with discipline, efficiency, and military excellence. The Prussian army was admired and feared throughout Europe. But Frederick's reforms went beyond war. He restructured the bureaucracy, improved infrastructure, and turned Berlin into a center of science and culture. His rule was a delicate balance of iron and enlightenment, and he ruled not just as a king, but as a servant of the state. By the time of his death in 1786, Prussia had risen from obscurity to become a major European power. Its borders had expanded, its reputation was unmatched, and the foundation was set for something even greater. Empire unification and the legacy of Prussia. In the 19th century, Prussia moved from being a strong kingdom to the powerful engine that united the German Empire. After the death of Frederick the Great, his successors continued building a strong state, but it was the arrival of Otto von Bismarck that changed everything. Bismarck was known as the Iron Chancellor. He believed Germany could only be united through blood and iron, not speeches and votes. Under King Wilhelm I, Bismarck led Prussia into key wars that were planned carefully to unite Germany under Prussian rule. First was the Second Schleswig War in 1864, where Prussia and Austria defeated Denmark to take Schleswig and Holstein. Next was the Austro-Prussian War in 1866. Prussia defeated Austria in 7 weeks and took control of northern Germany, forming the North German Confederation. Then came the Franco-Prussian War in 1870. Prussia defeated France, and German pride soared across all German states. In January 1871, in the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles, King Wilhelm was declared Emperor of a unified Germany. Prussia had become the heart of the German Empire. Its army, its leadership, and its strength made the dream of unification real. But even as it reached its peak, Prussia's aggressive nationalism and militarism would bring future troubles. After World War I, in 1918, the monarchy fell and the German Empire collapsed. Prussia was no longer a kingdom. In 1947, after World War II, the Allies officially abolished Prussia, calling it a symbol of war and imperialism. The name faded from history, but its impact remained strong. From a small, war-torn duchy to a global military and political power, the story of Prussia is one of ambition, discipline, and transformation. It shaped the history of Europe, influenced global politics, and left behind a legacy that still echoes through modern Germany and beyond. This was the rise of Prussia, from duchy to empire. Narrated by Empires Unearthed, uncovering the untold stories that shaped our world.